me. It does not currently impact me, but every time I see it on the news, I get so mad. Elaborate gender reveals. I do not like them. I don't understand them. Yeah. So the thing that gets me is that you accept a certain level of risk when you go out into the world and you do your life. And I just never think I might potentially die going to a gender reveal party surrounded by my family and friends. And that's, maybe I'll get food poisoning, maybe I'll get into a car accident there. I don't think a piece of shrapnel from a cannon that exploded is going to pierce me in the chest and kill me. Right. And that happened earlier this month in Michigan. And then just a few days ago, a man in New York was building a explosive device for his gender reveal party for his partner, and it exploded. It killed him, and his brother was injured. So now he was making this explosive device for a gender reveal, and now that baby doesn't have a dad.
That's so stupid. Like, I just don't understand that. Like, our gender reveal was, hey, we're having a boy. That's like it. Like, it's not.
Yeah. I love the cakes. I love the cupcakes. I even like the balloons. I do like as long as they don't release them into the sky. I don't like the balloons that release into the sky because that's bad for the birds. Right. But yeah, it doesn't make sense to me. And they can be super dangerous. There's been 2 wildfires that were started specifically because of gender reveals. The first one was in Arizona, and it was a man who made his own target, but he put tannerite in it. And he shot it with a rifle, and it exploded, and it started a fire. And he called the authorities right away, and he immediately was like, hey, I started this fire. I was doing a gender reveal. This is an active thing that's happening. That fire burned for a week. It burned, I think, 46,000 acres and cost approximately $8 million in damages, all for his gender reveal. And then even worse was that it happened again last year to somebody else. And that one was the El Dorado fire in California. And because I watched the news all day long, I saw the entire thing in real time. And it made less sense the more coverage that it got. Do you know anything about wildfire season in California?
No, I mean, one of the guys in my gaming crew, I remember, I guess last year, when they were having wildfires, he's close to San Diego. And so it was like, we may end up having to evacuate. Like, the whole sky's smoky, and that was unreal to me. Like, we have to evacuate over a random wildfire? Like, it's so crazy.
Yeah, the wildfire season in California is the same as tornado season for us and hurricane season for the East Coast. And it's just a known thing that between, these months, there could be a wildfire. And the most interesting part about it is that the power company does scheduled shutoffs specifically so that the grid doesn't get overheated, because if one of the transformers sparks, it will start a wildfire during this time, and has. A lot of the wildfires that are started are because a transformer sparked and started a wildfire because it's so dry. So anyways, these people during wildfire season went out into the middle of a field and shot actually, I think they were doing a smoke machine and it malfunctioned. So they had their smoke machine and it malfunctioned and it started a wildfire. And that wildfire burned for 3 weeks and there was 2 active wildfires already happening when this third one came that we were already following. And then this one came and I was like, really? A gender reveal party started a third wildfire.
That's so crazy.
And it made
why don't they shoot water balloons with colored water? If you have a wildfire risk, let's add some water to the,
Put some
to
water.
the atmosphere instead of the opposite.
Well, and it's so funny because those are extreme examples, but they have the less extreme ones too. I've seen people that do the baseball bats. So you know, the woman throws a baseball that has like the colored powder and the guy hits it. And I saw one story where he ended up, this might have been like a pinata situation of either way, he hit her with the bat accidentally. And another situation, the ball hit the baby's grandfather. And maybe it's minor injuries, maybe it's not, but why would you want to take the risk? Like,
Right?
what's the upside to having this? Like, how is this better than cutting a cake and being like, it's blue or it's pink?
Yeah. Yeah, because you still get the suspense.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you still get the shock of whatever it is. So it's why have to be so elaborate with it? So
And I don't think it's a regulated industry either, because you do have people that are making their own explosives and pyrotechnics, and that's, you know, part of the issue is I wonder if it was regulated, if we would have these issues, because then you would have like because I think somebody had the cannon, it was a gender reveal cannon that exploded that did the shrapnel to the chest
just
in
get a
Michigan.
confetti popper.
Well, that can cause issues too.
You know, like the things that just shoot some confetti out. Like tissue paper confetti. Just shoot that out.
There was a fight that started as at an Applebee's because of confetti poppers. So nothing is safe.
Well, and you don't do them in public where there's gonna be fucking confetti everywhere.
Yeah.
Like you do it in your own house and then you clean up your own mess. You know what I mean?
Well,
like,
they didn't want to clean up their own mess, which is why they went to Applebee's. That's why you go to Applebee's, Lindsay.
Well, Applebee's should be closed anyways.
Well,
the millennials, we're
exactly.
trying our damnedest to close Applebee's. So why are they even going there?
they just won't die. So yeah, so like nothing is safe, nothing is sacred. There was even one in it might have been Ohio or it might have been Chicago. I can't 100% remember, but it was a gender reveal party and it ended up being a mass casualty event because 3 people came and they started shooting and they killed 1 person. They entered and injured 8. The worst part, it was found out later, the person that was having the gender reveal party for them, not pregnant, don't have closure on why there was
and
a
how
gender
they revealing
reveal
a gender if there's no baby?
That was not disclosed.
Was it maybe like they're getting a new pet?
I don't know, because they never, as soon as they were like, these people are arrested, they just kind of like stopped reporting. And I was like, but I have additional questions. Was she faking the pregnancy? Was there ever a baby? Were they just throwing a random baby gender reveal as like a theme party? Because sometimes people do theme parties. I did a white trash party once. That was fun.
So, I mean, every party I've been to is a white trash party.
Well,
I live in Arkansas. They're all white trash.
We're like, you know what would be fun? Let's dress up as white trash and have a party.
Like, y'all should just come down here. You don't even have to dress up. Like,
yeah. So it's like, you know, maybe they just wanted to do a gender reveal party just for like the drama of it all. But yeah, it ended up being a mass casualty event.
That's funny.
But yeah, it's one of those things where I feel like these things don't happen when you just cut a cake and hand everybody a piece.
They don't happen when you have common sense.
Well, you can't just have common sense, Lindsay.
Well, I do, damn it. So, one thing that bothers me is my button-up shirts. Like if I have stuff for work, popping open. So I have found a cure for that.
Oh, do tell, because I can't wear button-ups.
I'm going to. So, you have your button-up shirt. Normally, it's going to, let me find one. Whoops. Hold on. Split open when you get your titties in there.
Every time.
So, I have made it where it doesn't.
Genius.
By, ta-da, adding snaps.
Oh my gosh.
I just sew them into whatever button-up shirt I buy.
That's so smart.
Just get some little cheap, a whole big package of snaps, and I just put 2 snaps in there so that you've got twice the strength, so they don't
Because
pop.
sometimes you need twice the strength.
You can never have too much. So I put 2 on any buttons that are going to be across the boobs. That way they don't.
Oh my God, that is a game changer.
It
I'm gonna have
is.
to do that.
It is, and you can buy any shirt and do it to it. I mean, it's
Yeah.
because like where your buttons are, they already have the fabric kind of folded.
Yeah, I
over.
was gonna say it's got that second space.
Yeah, so that you. Yep, that's what I do. That's how I fix that.
Oh, that's so smart. Because yeah, what I haven't been wearing them, and I will I'll switch out my bra depending on what shirt I'm wearing, so that it sometimes doesn't do that, sometimes it does. But it's so annoying to be like, okay, let's try on 6 different bras so we can find out what shirt I can wear today.
Yeah, yeah. And then what I used to do in order to kind of mash my boobs down, before I had come up with that, back when I worked at a telecommunications company and I sold and I had to wear a button-up shirt, I would wear like a normal minimizing bra, but because those put your boobs underneath your armpits, which is fucking annoying.
It's what every woman wants. We just want our boobs under our armpits.
Then I would wear like a tight sports bra that would kind of keep them back this way. So then they would be mashed down and back, and then I would mash them this way. So they would just kind of be like squished up against my body, nice and tight, so that my shirts wouldn't come open. But that was very uncomfortable. And then I got pregnant, and that was not about to happen once I was pregnant. I was already suffocating from the belly, so that ended.
My clothing hack that I found, so I am allergic to the buttons on jeans. I always have been.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so and it's not like a bad allergy, but it is enough where it will irritate my skin, and then it'll like just get gross, and you'll have to like wear a Band-Aid or like just deal with it. So what I found, I used to wear Spanx all day long, just Spanx 24/7. And I had really bad acid reflux all the time. And my doctor was finally like, are you wearing Spanx? And I'm like, I am, because, I got to keep everything in. And also I'm allergic to my jeans. And they were like, you can't wear Spanx. That's exactly why your acid reflux is bad. I'm like, but what am I going to do? I actually bought one of those, the pregnancy band where it like goes around your whole body, and it like, but it has that area for your belly. I bought those, and I wear those underneath my jeans because it keeps the metal from touching my skin. Mm-hmm. And bonus, if I lean down, it goes far enough that I never have to worry about showing any crack because it's covered and it doesn't move. And it is my favorite hack. And I tell people this all the time.
Is it like that stretchy, almost like extend your shirt?
It is.
I used to wear those because I'm so tall that like any normal length shirt, my tummy's going to show if I raise my arms or anything.
Yep.
And so I used to wear those just underneath my shirts to kind of go over my hips so that I would be covered, because I'm so tall that like no shirt is ever long. Like I've even bought men's shirts that are too short for me.
Yeah, so it's perfect. And it's even better too, because when you eat too much food, there's room. Like you're not suffocating. Like when you're wearing your Spanx, you're like, I can't eat a grape because I will bloat and then I will die. And this, I'm like, hand me 6 more cheeseburgers. Like, let's do this. This is made for a pregnant woman. Like, I can handle this.
One thing I wore after my last pregnancy and like did not give up for the longest time were my pregnancy yoga pants.
Yeah, I bet.
I had a C-section, and so my tummy's not what it used to be down low. Like I have the big mom gut down there.
They call it a fupa.
And yeah, don't worry, I
have not been pregnant, and I have one too.
Well, mine's like terrible. And then because I got an infection and it wouldn't heal. Of course, at the time, I thought it was because maybe they did something wrong at the hospital. But now that I know I have Ehlers-Danlos, I know it's just because it was a huge open incision and we don't heal. So But anyways, so it like wouldn't heal, and I had to pack my stomach from June to December.
Oh
I
my
had an
gosh.
open C-section, yeah, for that long before it
Jeez.
finally closed. It was terrible. So now I've got like a ton of scar tissue, and so I went to see my plastic surgeon. I've never had plastic surgery. I'm wanting to get a breast reduction, but now that I've been diagnosed, I don't know that
Oh yeah.
it's a good idea to have all those cuts because I had a breast tumor removed once, and it was like a 2.5, 3 inch incision to get the tumor out. And it busted open too. And so now I'm like, that was just a small incision. Like all of my laparoscopic surgeries have healed okay. But I was starting to think back and I was like, anytime I've ever been actually cut, it didn't heal. And then now that I've had this diagnosis and I see that that's like a common issue with this, I'm like, if I have like a breast reduction, like they do a lot of cutting to do that.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know that I'm going to heal from that. Like, so anyways, when I went to my plastic surgeon about the breast reduction, I asked about that bottom area because I was like, I've tried doing exercises, like I've tried losing weight, I've tried everything, and this doesn't go away. Like, what can I do? And he was like, that's scar tissue. Like, you can't, there's nothing you can do about scar tissue. You could work out all day, every day, and the scar tissue is still going to be there. You can reduce the fat, but you're not going to be able to reduce the scar tissue. Like, that has to be surgically removed, or you can't.
Oh,
I'm
that
like,
sucks.
thanks. So even if I lose 300 pounds, I don't even have 300 pounds to lose. But even if I did, I would have
You'll
wasted
still
away
have
to
this
nothing. I'm
beautiful
still going
scar
to have the
tissue.
scar tissue. Like there's nothing left. Even the bones are gone, but we've got this blob of scar tissue left.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that would be horrible.
Yeah. And I'm really upset over the breast reduction thing.
Oh, I can
But now I'm
imagine.
starting to feel like, so like I went in like I'm a Valley girl. I went in July to see the doctor about that. And my insurance kept denying it and denying it. And I'd already, had my ovaries and uterus and all that stuff taken out. So I was thinking, they're denying this. And I still think this because I was close to my out of pocket maximum for the year by July.
Oh,
Like I
okay.
already had that surgery. I had seen, my breast cancer doctor. I don't have breast cancer, but I have had the breast tumor and I'm a high risk. So I see one. And so I'm thinking they're denying this so that I have to wait to the beginning of the year. And then Anthony finally called them and was like, why does this keep being denied? And they're like, well, because the doctor keeps coding it wrong. We see that she legitimately needs it, but they've just coded it wrong.
You're like,
And
well,
this is
great.
by
We
like
can see
November,
it.
December, by the time he calls to bitch him out over it. And we're like, they were just trying to push it to the end of the year. But now I've had my diagnosis. So I'm like, I don't even know that I need it now. Like maybe it was like the universe stopping me from that so that my whole chest doesn't rot off or something,
I mean, yeah, some divine
like,
intervention.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. But,
Yeah.
so what else do I hate? Oh, I had another one that I hate.
Oh yeah.
I hate, and I legitimately think they should be outlawed. I'm fine with abortions. I'm fine with a lot of things, like almost anything I don't think should be outlawed. But this I think should, and it's flathead screwdrivers.
Really?
I
Why?
hate flathead screwdrivers. I hate them. Not screwdrivers per se, but the screws, like trying to do a flathead, they always pop out constantly. Like
I don't think I use screwdrivers enough to know
I
if
like
that's
the
an issue.
star ones because they don't strip the way that
Nope.
Phillips.
Okay. Nope. I know
Those are my
exactly what you're
favorite.
talking about now. You know what else I hate? My treadmill, the belt is never quite right. And you have to tighten it using an Allen key. It's all fine and good. Sure, we'll do it. They go, you can use this Allen key that we've provided you with your treadmill to fix this. Wonderful. Well, guess what? Allen key does not reach the thing that I need to use to tighten it. And then when it finally, so I got another one and it did. But you can't turn it because there's not enough. You're trying to turn
They
the
didn't give you
small
a space
side.
to do it.
Yeah, so I'm trying to turn the small side, and the small side doesn't have it. So I had to get a second tool. So there's me on the floor, and there's not a lot of room in my apartment. My treadmill's up against a wall and my couch. So there's me in the corner, trying not to stand on the belt while I'm trying to turn the Allen key with a wrench, so I can use my treadmill. And it drives me nuts. And I hate tools that don't work with your items. I don't
Right.
understand it. Like, either don't give me the tool at all, or give me one that will work. Don't tell me, because then I feel stupid. Because then
Yeah.
I'm looking at the instructions, and I was sitting there crying on my
Did you try
treadmill.
it
Like,
the other direction? Because either end works.
I did. Well, that was the issue. The small side wouldn't reach it. You
Yeah.
needed to put the long side in. And when you put the long side in, you have like just, I mean, this much space between the end of that and, the short side. So there just wasn't enough leverage, I guess is the word, to spin it.
That looked weird, didn't it?
So there wasn't enough leverage for me to move it, which is why I had to get a second tool. But before I had the second tool, it was literally just me crying on my treadmill. Like, the instructions said I should have been able to do this. And I'm not a handy person. I cannot fix things for myself. I don't care how simple a fix it is. I can't do it. And it's taken me, I'm starting to get it, but I mean, I'm learning very basic things that people have been doing forever.
I'm great at building things. I'm great at all the handyman stuff. I've done plumbing work. I can usually, unless there's some sort of complication, like put in lighting fixtures. Like, I can do a lot of stuff.
And you're also very far away from me.
Yeah.
That's my issue, is I'm always like, I try to do it myself and I can't. And then I get frustrated, and then I'm trying to like call other people, and then I'm getting more frustrated because I'm like, you should be able to do this. You should be able to tighten a belt on your treadmill by yourself, but I can't. And I finally figured out how, but every single time it's a nightmare. And I've learned I walk on an angle so that the belt will always keep going the other way, instead of tightening the treadmill, because I can't figure it out.
I've never had a treadmill.
They're fun. I like it.
I wouldn't use one if I had one.
Yeah, I
would for like a week, and then I would put it up out of the way and then never take it back out.
Well, see, that's the bonus of where I have mine. I live in a 1-bedroom, and I have my treadmill right next to my couch in my living room. And I also this is just me being weird, I have a treadmill for my cat. I put it next to his treadmill, and sometimes he will run on his treadmill while I walk on my treadmill. But he goes full speed though, and I have to remind him. So he'll get on his treadmill, and he does this thing where he starts walking, and I'm like, "Oh, good job, baby, you're doing so good." And then he's like, "I'm doing good. Must go faster." And so he jumps up. So it's a very tall treadmill. It's maybe like 3 or 4 feet off the ground. He jumps up, so he's almost at the very top, and he pulls it down and then just runs full speed. And I'm obsessed with it. I love it. And every time that I'm in my living room, I'm like trying to secretly film him and get it on camera, because it's so funny to watch.
Yeah, I want to see this.
Yeah, I'll see if I think I have a video of him going, and it's not even full speed, because he sees me doing it and then he'll stop.
Yeah.
But he will go on his treadmill next to me on mine, and then he'll go full speed, and then he'll kind of like stop after a minute, and he'll look at me. I'm like, "Oh, baby, we still got 40 minutes left. Like, you gotta pace yourself. We're still going." And then he'll like kind of look at me and be, "Okay." And he does. It's weird to see too. So in my video that I will send to you, he likes to be encouraged. He screams when he runs. And so, yeah, so he runs, and you just go, meow, meow. And even worse, if you're in the room, he will look at you, and if you do not meow back at him, he will stop. And he will literally stop, and he will sit, and he will look at you, and then you're like, meow. And then he goes, okay. And then he starts going again. So all of my videos have me meowing at my cat, because it's so cute that he meows when he runs, because that's how I feel too. Is I feel like he's going, I don't want to be doing this. I hate this. Why do I have to be on the treadmill? And he just wants that encouragement. But I look like a crazy person meowing at my cat while he
No,
runs on
you're
his
just a cat
treadmill.
person.
Yeah.
I think all cat people meow at their cats.
Yeah. But yeah, he's quirky because he likes to be meowed at while he runs. And I get it because everybody needs a friend while they're exercising.
Right.
But yeah, that's a fun thing that we do together.
Yeah. So what's something else you hate?
Oh God. I'm trying to think of other things I hate. I wasn't prepared. I had the one thing that's just like driving me nuts. Oh, here's something. I hate people who do not use merge etiquette. I feel like there's a proper way to merge, and there are two sections of my drive to work that drive me nuts. One of them is the lanes, two going into one, and there's people that just like don't understand the concept. It's a very long merge too, so like you can see what's happening, and they just like don't understand. You're like, I'm going the speed limit. Like now I have to hit my brakes because you're being an asshole and you're not like doing this proper. So that drives me nuts.
Zipper.
Yeah, you're supposed to zipper.
Yeah.
But they don't. They stay in a way that you can't pass them, but they're also obstructing you. And so you have to like go under the speed limit because they're going under the speed limit. And you're like, now this is why traffic exists.
So I have a story about merging.
Okay.
So, long time ago, it was probably 2010 or 2011. So I have migraines and I was seeing a neurologist for it. And they tried me on gabapentin as I guess a migraine preventative. And it was day 10 of taking these. And I was progressively getting more and more angry every single day that I took this. So on day 10, I had like picked my daughter up from school and we're going out on the interstate and I'm trying to merge onto the interstate, like on the off on ramp, and I'm getting down and there's someone in this lane, already coming over and there's nobody in the other lane. So all they do is get over, so I can merge over. And this one, like where you have the time to merge is really short on this. So you don't have much time. They wouldn't get over and they kept going the same speed as me and like speeding up and kind of slowing down. And it was a woman who was texting and not paying any attention. So she didn't even realize what she was doing. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I got so irritated. And so this was day 10 of this medicine that was progressively making me angry. She doesn't let me merge on. So I have to almost come to a stop, wait for her to go by just so I can get on,
I've had to do that.
And I was like, this bitch, I'm going to beat her ass. I swear to God. I followed her for like 20 minutes. Full intention. I'm not kidding. Full intention of wherever she stopped, I was going to punch this woman. And I'm like, I'm not that kind of person. Like, I'm not going to go punch some random stranger. Like, I've never done that in my entire life. Like, I've punched one person, like full on punch. And it's because they wouldn't stop trying to slap me in like junior high. Like, I'm not I don't fight like that. Like, it's just that's not me at all. So I'm following this woman and about 20 minutes of following her, waiting on her to pull over. And I looked in the rear view mirror because Lily said something. And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with me? You're like, oh, my neurologist. And I'm talking to the nurse and I was like, I have not taken this medicine anymore. Like, I was just about to beat someone up because they didn't move over and let me merge onto the interstate. Like, this is not okay. So stop taking it. And here recently, my doctor, because I've been having stomach ulcer issues, so I haven't been able to take my anti-inflammatory NSAIDs for my joint pain and everything. They put me on it's another anticonvulsant, which is like gabapentin, to try to help with my pain. And I was like, I don't know about this. Like, I've tried one of these before. It's been like over 10 years and now I don't have my ovaries. So I don't have those hormones. So it might be okay now, but I don't know that I'm okay with it. And like day 10, I like snapped and lost my shit on everyone. And I was like, Anthony, what day is it? Because I can't take this. And I was so angry. And he looked at it and told me the date on the pill bottle. And it was day 10 again. And I was like, throw those damn things away. I can't be taking this fucking medicine. And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong? And it's day 10 both times. Is that not crazy?
Yeah.
I didn't even realize it had been 10 days then. I was just like losing my shit. And then I'm like, look at that medicine and see what day it is or what day I got it filled, because the same kind of medicine as the time before, and I'm never this angry, you know. And he looked at it, sure enough, it was day 10. And I was like, that is so weird.
That is weird. I don't understand like medications. Like they're so interesting. Like the over-the-counter medication, it I don't you don't know because like I know prescription medications, they give you a dosage based on what you weigh. So you're like, so if I go to the doctor, I get a prescription based on what I weigh. But if I go to the CVS, I'm supposed to just take a capful and like it doesn't matter if I'm 120 pounds or 400 pounds. Like it's just this is how much you take. And it's so frustrating because then I get too paranoid. So I'm like, well, maybe I should take more. But then I'm like, no, don't take more because what if then you have like some horrible reaction? Because that's why I'm always like, I'm too nervous to take over the counter medication because they're like, don't take more than two in a 24-hour period. And I'm like, can't do it. My brain won't let me, even if I'm like, even if it's like Tums, it's like, don't take extra Tums. And I'm like, okay, pill bottle, I won't take extra
Oh my
Tums.
God. Like I'll take 4 ibuprofen at a time, 3 to 4 times a day. Hence the stomach ulcers.
Well, that's why I'm like, and so me, I'm like, I'm not a big drinker. I don't do anything that would harm my liver. But me, I'm like, well, if I take 4 Advil, my liver will collapse. Like thinking that like it's an immediate issue and not something that happens over a prolonged period of not following the rules.
Yeah. Well, my issue is, so I was taking diclofenac, I think is what it's called.
Mm.
I don't know what the like brand name was, but I think Voltaren, actually, Voltaren or something. I don't know, but it was pill form for my joint pain, and on top of that's an NSAID. On top of that, I was taking like 4 ibuprofen at a time, 3 times a day. I got to wake up, pop 4 in.
It is a
After
wonder you're
lunch, pop
alive.
4 more. Before bed, pop another 4. But if I don't, like, I'm in pain. Like, I have to do that. And I've tried like normal pain pills, they don't work. I mean, they just make me sick to my stomach and they don't help the pain. Like, I need something to reduce the inflammation, not reduce the pain, because the inflammation is what's causing me the pain. You know what I mean? So I was doing that, and then I started throwing up, and I noticed I was having a little bit of blood when I was throwing up, and I was like, something's wrong. So I go to the doctor, and she's feeling on my stomach and checking me out, and they ended up having I had stomach ulcer issues, and she's like, yeah, you probably need to let's stop the diclofenac. Are you taking anything else? I was like, well, I never take less than 4. Like if I take 2 or 3 ibuprofen, I can't even tell if I take anything. But if I take the fourth one, then I feel good. Or not really good, but I'm not in pain.
Right.
So I take a lot of ibuprofen. She's like, no, you cannot be taking all of that. And I'm like, I can't live without it. Like I can't function. I can't walk. Like I hurt so bad.
So
Um,
worse, the automatic self tanners. They are one terrifying. I don't know if you've ever been in one. It's this giant box and it's very intimidating. And I did it one time and I don't look like a person who knows what they're doing in like a tanning salon. So I don't know like what vibe I was giving off to the girls at the front desk that they did not tell me how to do it. But I was like, okay, I'm going to get a spray tan. And they didn't ask like any questions. They were just like, okay, go to this room. And so, okay. So I read the instructions on the machine and because I didn't think to ask because I didn't think it would be like that hard. Let me tell you, you want to ask. So you stand in the machine and you have to stand like completely like this and you close your eyes and it just head to toe sprays you. And then it beeps at you and you're blind because you can't open your eyes because they have tanning solution on them. You turn around, you do the same thing and you do that. And then you have to step out still blind. And then this is the part where I really screwed it up. You are supposed to rub the tanning solution into your skin so that it's even and nice looking and not weird and blotchy and patchy. I did not know this information. And I just let it dry. And once it dried, I put my clothes on and I left. And then that, like the next day, I'm just like this blotchy, weird patch of like everything. And I was like,
I wouldn't have known that.
no, and I didn't
Like,
either.
explain it for me. I shouldn't have to do anything, right?
Yeah. So then I went back and I was like, what do I do? And they're like, there's literally nothing you can do. They're like, you can use like an abrasive like body wash. And I'm like, what's the most abrasive body wash? So I'm literally like scrubbing like a layer of skin off myself trying to get to a normal human color. And I just can't do it. Homeowners associations. I hate homeowners associations. Um, at my old house, we had a homeowners association. The association fee was astronomically high for,
Like I remember you complaining about something that you had. Was it the place I stayed at?
yeah.
Yeah.
So the homeowners insurance was very high and there were no amenities. Like this wasn't like a place that like we had a clubhouse and we had a pool and we had all of these things. The things that they did for you, they mowed the grass and they shoveled the snow. But they don't mow the grass and shovel the snow like immediately. So like when it was winter time, there was one time when my roommate and I had to shovel the snow using a plastic toboggan that we had in the garage because we didn't own a shovel because they're supposed to shovel the driveway. But they didn't. And it was like, we have to get to work. And it was like one of those like significant snows where it's like, we need to shovel to get out. And so there we are, like using our toboggan at like 10 in the morning because nobody had shoveled the snow. And like you call, yeah, and like you call them, they're like, we get to you when we get to you. What? Toboggan? No, the toboggan is like a 4-person sled, like the long sled.
I did not know that.
Oh yeah, no, a toboggan. Like we used a sled. We essentially just use a big sled to
I'm
shovel
so confused
snow.
because I was like a toboggan that you wear on your head, like a hat.
I don't even know what a toboggan on your head is.
Kind
I've
of like
never
a
heard of that.
A
I
toboggan.
haven't heard of that.
Toboggan on.
You're gonna have to look that one up because I don't know. But
I'm gonna let me do this.
but yeah, so we had to do that. And then the other thing, and this was actually a fun story from recently, we have something we call them the fat shaming bushes. There are bushes in the front of the house that overgrow. Oh,
that's what I was thinking of. That's
no
what I was so
kidding.
confused. I'm like, you knew that
has its origin in the south of the USA. So that's why you know it and I don't. Yeah, I have never.
Your hat to shovel snow? It'd be easier to just use your hands.
Yeah, I have.
That's so funny.
That's so weird. Yeah, no, I have never heard of that. But yeah, so we call these bushes the fat shaming bushes because they overgrow. And if there is any rain at all, morning dew, full on rain, any of it, when you walk out your front door, they hit you on the sides and your shirt is soaking wet. So it's very offensive and definitely not a good start to the day when you're like walking outside and you're like, oh, good, I'm too fat to walk out my front door because these goddamn bushes. So he called because he's like, I hate this. I want these bushes cut. And they were like, oh, we only cut them twice a year. And he's like, they're overgrown. Like I literally am being like hit in the sides with these bushes because they're coming over. And it wasn't like, oh, they're a little overgrown. Like it's a big step. And they were coming like halfway through. So like this, you had basically half the step was just bushes on both sides. And we would normally go in and out the garage because that's the most convenient. But when we had dogs, that's where we took them out. So it was always just like very upsetting every time there was snow and rain to be like, yeah, you have this. And then you call the HOA and they're like, we can't do anything about it. And you're like, what do I pay you for?
Right.
And I've heard stories of
Just
people
bitch at me over something else.
Yeah. Well, I've heard stories of people.
Things I'm paying you for. I'm basically just paying you to bitch at me.
Well, yeah. Well, I've seen it where HOAs will be like, you can't drive a truck. It ruins the aesthetic of the neighborhood if you drive a truck. So we don't want that here.
Fly in the South.
And so yeah, so it's
anything that would require everyone to have a truck.
Yeah. Yeah, like, welcome to the South. Where's your truck?
Yeah.
But yeah, these HOAs, like they have just these arbitrary rules that they just decide amongst yourself. You can't have a water feature, or you can't have a shed in your backyard, or you have to get approval to have a shed in your backyard. And you can't paint your house any color except for these colors. And it's just one of those things where it's like, okay, so I own my house, you have nothing to do with it, and I'm paying you, X amount of money a month so that you can tell me that my mailbox is the wrong color and you don't like it. And they can change them too. Like, you can have had the exact same house for like 20, 30 years. And then on a whim, this homeowners association is just like, we don't like this anymore. So fix it, or we're going to
Have you
fine
seen
you.
the Duck Dynasty episode where Jace goes to bat
Mm,
with the homeowners association?
I have not.
It's really funny.